Ish. Okay, good evening, everyone.
Tomorrow I'll come to when I come.
Hello, everyone. It's good to have everyone on
Hi,
board.
hi, hi.
Yeah,
Hi,
so
baby.
we so we are here to work on our bank system, have a feel of the entire project, how it looks like after coding it for days, precisely 3 to 4 days, and you see 1 week. Yeah, I'm guessing. I mean, everybody did well in there as well. So we gave a login. Hey, we used an email. That email has already been recorded in our database, so we're going to log in and see how the entire outlook looks like. And this is the layout. Then we have the PHP reflecting the person's input. Immediately the person logs in. So if Derek is to log in like this, it's his name will appear here. If Badex is to log in, his name will appear here. And this is our dashboard overview. Our draw section, which you use a big card, used the deposit section to follow the same format, but then in our codes, remember we use the PHP to reflect the amount, tap it into the backend. So when we're done, I'll show you the backend details, but let's try inputting a number. See, it's reflected and we get a notification that it has been successfully reflected. So for the withdraw section, same implies we input an amount and it's deducted. Then we have the transfer history. Then say I want to send to someone within probably buttocks. I'm sending him, let's say 5,000, 55, whatever. Then I send it to be deducted. Remember, we didn't really get time to work on the mini statement because time was fast spent. So when we click there, there's nothing showing because we didn't work on it. But then if we go back to our transaction history, all the details are there showing our input and yeah, and basically everything that we have. So if we log out, it takes us back to the login page and then we do that. Yeah, this is how the back end layout was. Well, we didn't get time to add a lot of tables. So we had the transaction table. We had the user transaction table shows all the details, the deposit withdrawal. I mean, everything is inputted here, whatever the user does. And for the users, we signed in a couple. We used for Steve, Nathan, Tina, and then Badex. And for the wallet, yeah, it was basically this. So going back, let's try and see how the code layout is. For the code layout, let me open. This one. Mhm. So for the code layout, for the authentication side, what PHP, to tap into the backend. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right. We use the PHP to tap into the backend. And for the wallet session, so that every input the user is to input, it will go back into the backend and store it there to our database session. So right to store it there. For the backend, then we used shortcuts. Yes, but the main backend is inside the authentication.php. And we have the config.php. And sure.
Please, I have a question.
Yes, please, what's your question?
I have a question.
Yes.
I was asking which database you use.
We use XAMPP database. Let me go back to the database.
Database. Okay.
Yes, please.
Okay.
The database is XAMPP. Yes. And in order for you to have it working, you need to, download it. Like how the other
Yeah.
databases, computer science students can access the other databases. So you have Apache MySQL running. And then the ones we are
Uh,
using primarily is Apache and MySQL. So we set it running so that it can reflect in our in our browser.
so so it is an API.
Well, not exactly, but I guess so. Not
Okay.
exactly, just yeah.
Okay.
So back to the code. Our config.php. This holds the backend data, like the backend data. So our database name was bank project. I don't know if you guys saw it when I opened it. Let me go back to it. This is our database name, bank project. As you can see, a new will give a new this is the database name, bank project. This is a different project. Forget about the latter ones. But this is the database name we're working with, bank project. So we call this in config code, config code. Then it's a local host that we are using, which is exam. And the username was root. There's a way we find for the username. Let me try and see if I can try to get that. But that would be quite a long process. But then the username is root because I'm using exam as my database set. So yeah, and there's no password attached to it. Then this. So if $ connection is false, then there's a connection error. But there was no false connections and everything. And we used Tailwind CSS for our layouts. Most of the layouts we used Tailwind. So we inserted Tailwind here so that we wouldn't call it in every other file. The dashboard file wouldn't call it, but rather we'll call our config.php. Where is it? No, where is it? The config. Let me see. Yes, we call the config.php in our sidebar. And then the sidebar is, you see, once you log in, the section that holds the deposit, the withdrawal, the transaction, the dashboard, those buttons you press, that's our sidebar. So we call that config.php in our sidebar file code. Then since the sidebar is small like the whole body of the actual layout, we called it in the rest of the mini codes because once you click on the dashboard button, it will link you directly to the dashboard page from the sidebar. So in the dashboard section, we have the sidebar being called here, then deposits to the same thing. Then for the sidebar, we used a PHP file code to reveal the deposit amount and then the withdrawal amount. You see, you saw some cards be when I opened let me log in again. Let me use Badex, this one. There's the current balance and the total transactions. We didn't get time to work on the total income. Like we just put random figures there. And for the current balance, it reflected what Badex already had in his account. So we use the PHP code to call out that from the backend. Same for the total transactions for the backend. Yeah, so that was primarily that's basically it. And we have our transaction history. That one we had a lot of echoes. We echoed a lot of this one. That's a PHP term to output a result or a given data. They had a transaction history, had a withdrawal. Now, diving further into the question, we're asked to generate a couple of diagrams, right? A couple of diagrams. Get them.
I,
Yes.
I wanted to ask Like, what are we doing right now?
Right now, we are going over the entire project and recording it actually.
Uh,
Going over
I
the
thought
entire.
maybe we are come to do a video again.
Yeah, we're actually doing that.
So, should we on our cameras or this okay?
Oh, if you are in a state where you can actually show your face, that's fine.
Okay, okay. We are just going over the project.
Yes, please. So,
Okay, thank you. Very
right. So for the first, the diagram that we most focused on was the entity relationship diagram. We needed to know the relationship between most of our like our tables, the transaction, this is an example which this site gave us. So in I don't know, can't remember in our documentation. Let me see if I can open that. Oh, it's taking a while. Okay. So the project is about and stuff. Let me see if I can tap on. Oh, I don't think we added that one, but okay, it was a PDF. Oh, yep. In our documentation, which Derek worked on, yes, please clap for Derek for working on our documentation. We had our ER diagram shown here. You see, in our backend, we had the users table, the transactions table, and then the transfers table. So this ER diagram gave an elaborate, let's say, connection or something that if the lecturer sees, you know that yes, in a way they are connected and can point out which is connected to which without coming to look at our database from our local host, server. So that one gave every. We're supposed to add other diagrams too. I'll work on that one later. Yes, we'll work on that one later. Then put that. I'll share it amongst them. We'll work on all of that. Yes, and yeah, so well, basically the head and tail of it is that our project is a bank system, right? It's Zenith Capital and it's a PHP-based web banking system designed to simulate real-world banking operations, such as, the basic ones. We have the deposit. I mean, when you go to a bank, you're going to make a deposit. Like, what is then now we scar or you transfer the money to someone else. So for our transfer session, you can't transfer to somebody who isn't signed up like on the app, like who doesn't use that app. You can only transfer to somebody who has, let's say, his or her credentials saved on the app. Yes. But future adjustments will try to expand the app and then try to send to people outside the banks, hopefully. So our UI is quite simple. We use dark theme and yeah. So can someone I don't know how long I've been talking. Can someone like deduce how long I've been talking for?